What if I told you Jesus claimed to be God in a way you probably never even realized? So in Matthew chapter 7, verses 21 through 23, Jesus says, "Not everyone who says to me, 'Lord, Lord,' will enter the kingdom of heaven." And then he goes on to say, "On that day many will say to me, 'Lord, Lord.'" And then later in Matthew chapter 5, we see the same construction, "Lord, Lord," in reference to Jesus. And in Luke chapter 6, we see it again, "Lord, Lord," in reference to Jesus. So why is this term so important? Well, the New Testament was written in Greek. And this word for Lord in Greek is kurios, which is basically means Lord or Master. Now, it could mean Lord in like a general sense, like someone's a Lord or Master of somebody, or it could have a divine connotation where it's referencing to God as your Lord. So it really depends on the context and what's referring to, just regular person or God. But in this, the way this is phrased, it's Lord, Lord. In the Greek, it's kurie, kurie, which is the vocative case of kurios, which just basically means it's more emphatic. It's like saying like, "Oh Lord," something like that. So when we see kurie, kurie, it's very significant because if you know the Septuagint, which is the Greek translation of the Old Testament, you'll notice that this construction was only used for God alone. I'm going to show you what I mean here. All right, so as you guys can see here, there's a multitude of passages, all from the Septuagint, so the Greek translation of the Old Testament, and then there's the English translation. But then you also see this Hebrew construction right here. And this is Adonai, which means my Lord, and then Yahweh, which is the divine name of God. So when they're put together, it's supposed to be more emphatic, like, "O Lord God." However, whenever you see this construction here translated, it's always kurie, kurie, as you see, "O Lord God." And then here, kurie, kurie, "O Lord, my Lord, a Yahweh Adonai." And then kurie, kurie, "Ah Lord God, Adonai Yahweh." And so on and so on. So as you can see here, when Jesus says, "Many will come to me and say, 'Kurie, Kurie,'" it was no accident because he knew that the Jews were very much aware of the Greek translation of the Old Testament, and he knew that whenever this word was used, Adonai Yahweh, it was translated as kurie, kurie. So when he said, "Many will come to me saying, 'Lord, Lord," he knew that they would understand it as him claiming to be God, because this phrase was only used for God in the Old Testament. So again, Jews who were very much aware of the Greek translation of the Old Testament knew exactly what he was trying to say. So if anyone ever tries to tell you that Jesus never claimed to be God, show him this, show it to him, and say, "No, he did claim to be God, and he knew exactly what he was talking about."